Well, today is the day of the road trip. It's like 9:15 already. I really wanted to leave before 9. Ideally, I wanted to leave before 8, but I got off of work at what was it like? I got back home at like 2:30 in the morning. So right now, while I'm running around like a madman trying to get things done, got to check all the tires for pressure. I got to change the oil. What else do I got to do? Yeah, I got to do that. I got to pack all that stuff. Got to clean that stuff up. Oh man. Wish I had gotten more done, but just not enough time. Well, the car wouldn't start today, so right now I've got the new block heater on there, warming it up. Apparently my battery's charged, so just warming it up. And I was going to start the car and let her warm up in order to change the oil. And yeah, looks like those wires need to go there. Says the battery's charged, but didn't want to turn over well initially, so I guess it's just cold. I'm gonna let her sit while I get everything else done. So things like packing the bag, getting the tarp up, and time's still ticking away and still not on the road. Isn't it funny how that works? Well, got the car started finally. It only took having the block heater on and charging the battery to get it going. But she's going now. Well, it's 11 o'clock. I just got done draining all the oil and changing out the filter. So I'm just filling it up. I'm using Walmart's finest because this engine uses oil like crazy. Doesn't really burn much, but it certainly leaks it. Not nearly as bad as my old motor did, though, bear in mind. Did also add some zinc. Did check all the tires. They're nice and even, which is good. And they're all at 28, so I'm going to bring them up to about 30, maybe 32, just to be on the safe side. It is cold. Not terribly cold. I did have trouble getting her started. I had the block heater and the charger on. Did end up getting her started, and she went. Got her warmed up. Now she turns over nicely. Got the charger on there because I'm using the, I'm just turning it over to help pump the oil into the, whatchamacallit, into the oil filter, so I'm not less likely to start it up dry. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now. About that, once I get the oil filter filled up, then I'll add the second bottle of oil, bring her up to the mark, and call it good. Well, so I was pumping around all the oil in there. I still have to add another jug, but I've been just cycling it until I can know I built up oil pressure, because that means that the oil filter is full. Without running it basically that way I don't start dry without oil pressure. Well, I was doing that, going around checking my tires for air pressure. Notice that little spot there. Now I thought that was just another oil spot, but I don't know if you just saw it, but it's drippy. And here's the joy. Turns out that my fuel tank has become incontinent. Like, apparently quite badly. So now I've got the original fuel tank out here. I have to take a poke in there and see if that's even going to be serviceable. Well, let's have a look. See. Let me get some light going. Maybe this might hold fluid, but also a good chance that it won't. It held like maybe about, I don't know, this much fluid when I drained it out. Maybe it was more, but it was nowhere near full. So we'll see. It's a bit of a pity because from the outside it looks really nice, but who knows what kind of pinholes are coming through. And I also feel bad about, sticking this on the car, because that's going to just go rusty. That galv's not going to last very long. Well, then again, the bumper's holding up all right. Yeah, it might turn all powdery white with the salt corrosion. Oh no, well, I got to clean this out and see what I can do. I do want to note that it's interesting. There's this kind of greenish crystalline junk around the top up here. That's interesting. Downside, you can kind of see how nasty that is. Yeah, we'll see if it holds fluid. I'm thinking that's all rust up the side there, and those white flakes are the calv pieces kind of peeling off. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna try and dump out all the junk and then go from there. Then maybe throw some rocks in, shake it around, see what I can flush out of here. I'm gonna give it a good shake and let's see what I can get out of here. Not sure the best way to get it out. Ooh. Wonder if that was supposed to be like a lining or something. Probably have dumped that in a bag or something. I got brooms. That's not going to clog up my fuel system in the least bit. I'm sure of it. Well, that pile just came out of there, and there's still more in there, so not looking too hot. I'm not sure. Well, I've been rattling around and blowing air through it, so let's have a look and see how she's coming. Well, now that actually looks somewhat respectable. Looks like it's still got loose flaky stuff up on the sides there. But bottom sure seems to have come out. See my pile of gravel in there. Looks like a pile of junk in the corner there. Now the question is, do I fill it up with water? Probably should. Fill it up and drain it out a couple times. See if you can see anything down in here. Nothing much. Yeah, I think I'll take it in the house, fill her up and drain it out a couple times and see where I can get it from there. Well, I've got the tank here in my basement in the laundry room sink. Boy, that all came out of there. Wow, that's like proper crusty. But right now I'm filling up the tank with water. Check for leaks and all that jazz. And I'm going to drain it out again and hopefully flush out some of this rust. That is rather rough on the walls, so feel like might have some fueling issues in the future. Seems like the green stuff comes off with water. Not seeing any leaks yet. I got some dribbles on the side, but those are from me missing with the sprayer. Not really seeing anything damp down there. Oh, she's coming up slowly. Well, I got her all the way full up. Went a little overboard there. Water level has gone down, but I'm assuming that's because, well, there's like a ring that sticks down, so of course, air pocket, water zoop, right up that little bit, the last bit there, and then as any kind of air that's up here escapes over the top of that, it lets it kind of, whatever, lets the water in the little tube drop back down slowly. So, not seeing any leaks anywhere. Nothing's wet except for where I dribbled. Bottom seems to be holding, so I'm calling this thing watertight. Well, gas tight, hope. Well, watertight for sure. I did add a drop of Dawn to try and help clean everything out. That gunk in there is definitely like hydrophobic, so now I'm just going to pull the drain plug and try and refill it again, I think. Well, I've just let it drain completely, kind of rinsed it out. Well, that kind of flaky rust is still in there, which I'm not terribly happy about. You still see my gravel in there. Need to get that out. But, ooh, there's a whole pile of shit over there. Guess I gotta take care of that, get all the gravel out, and then rinse her out again. Yeah, you can really see where that old gas was sitting in there. Well, it's been a few hours. It's probably like 9:30 right about now. Took me quite a while, like all afternoon, trying to get all the junk out of this tank. But I think I've been fairly successful. I am expecting, to use a sedimenter, give that a good workout on my trip tomorrow. I am going to leave tomorrow morning bright and early, so I'm trying to slam this tank in there tonight. It did hold water. Got some gaskets made up, fugly, but they should hold, they should be able to seal just fine. And while I was in there, I don't know, this white stuff kind of appeared. It fell from the sky, man. So, changing gas tank in the snow. The night of a trip that I should have left this morning for. Yippee! Well, it took a solid few minutes to get everything all ready and set up. Not to mention, I got all my tools in this bag, which means that all the tools that I need are at the very bottom, hidden away where you could never find them. It took me forever to find the 11 mil, and I couldn't even find the 11 mil impact socket, but found this one. It'll be good. It'll be alright. 11 mil, take off this front cover while I actually swing it around. Take off the sender unit. Take off the pipe, the draw tube, and then I need to disconnect the two hoses back here. You can't see them, but there's two hoses. One's the fill spigot and the other's the vent tube. Gotta take those off, and then I'll be able to drop the tank. I just wanted to say that the pleasure of having a screwdriver that perfectly fits the slotted heads of a bolt or screw, that pleasure is something that people that don't work with their hands will never know. It's quite enjoyable. Alright, well, I replaced this fuel sender at one point. And I did replace the gasket that's in there. Looks like she... Oh, there we go. Go that way around the fuel tube. There we go. No slishy sloshy. It's all good. Wonder if I could even reuse this gasket. Haha. You know what? Screw the one I made. Reusing that one. And you can see it's got... Ooh. Well, there's my gas. Don't drop my phone in the gas tank. Oh, well, it won't fit, so... Looks a lot nicer than my other gas tank, but we'll see how it turns out. Right now I'm using the fuel sender hole to siphon the gas out of the tank. These auto siphons are really nice, even though this tube gets really stiff in the wintertime. While that's draining, I hope that'll fit in the 5-gallon. I better keep an eye on it. That's actually coming up pretty quick. Oh, we'll see. Well, here's the fuel filler tube, and you can see like the gauze sock on the end of it. Kind of helps keep the biggest chunks out, the ball bearings out of the fuel anyways, from the tank side. Does have a rip up in the top, if you could focus. Does have a rip up there, so I'm being like ginger careful with it, trying to keep it nice. Got the other gasket there, and I'm going to go ahead and install it on this tank. Land Rover. The only car that I know that you can literally dump a gas tank right into your gas tank. Well, I just discovered that apparently I've been driving around with a nut, looks like a walnut, in my gas tank this whole time. Oh, that's funny.